Now on CoastTV News.
21 houses planned for this land, why neighbors say the development will be a danger to their health for years to come.
New Delaware handgun law challenged, why some groups say the law isn't ready, but others say it's needed.
Shots from above show an empty field for now, but the city of Lewis wants it to change and not into houses.
And we have very blustery winds, and we're watching out for a significant drop in temperatures where you're going to go burr for quite a while.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
A subdivision plan off a rural back road in Milton. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with what's called the Teapatch Farm development.
On your screen now is the land where the property owner wants to put 21 houses on Burton Road, just west of Sand Hill Road in Milton. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live there. And Emma, the development got the green light today.
Maddie, this is the 24 acres of land behind me called Teapatch Farms that Sussex County Planning and Zoning unanimously approved to be 21 houses today. The commission this afternoon saying under Delaware law, it's permitted use. So the courts say if it's code compliant, it essentially cannot be denied. Frank Payton, a farmer on Burton Road, says his land already can't retain water.
And that soil right here on my property is the exact same soil type as the proposed development property. And as you can see, it rained last week and we're starting to get into muddier, wetter soil type. And according to the USDA, this soil type is not suitable for septic systems.
A property owner wants to build a subdivision called Teapatch Farms, a plan with 21 single-family houses on the 24 acres next to Payton's land. Payton says the land scientifically is not suitable.
Here's a great example of something that should not happen that would help us slow down.
Coast TV reached out to the property owner Wednesday but did not hear back. Josh Weldon, who lives on Burton Road, says this development will be a safety hazard.
If the wells were poisoned by septic, then it would probably be sick kids, and we would be wondering over time that our kids are getting more and more sick. Is it the drinking water? Do we have to filter it? We would have to get it tested more often.
Neighbors say the traffic this development could bring to the rural road will also pose issues. People here on Burton Road even created a website called SaveBurtonRoad.com and put up yard signs in opposition. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did say today that more environmental testing will be required here. Reporting live in Milton, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Decision comes after the October public hearing on Teapatch Farms. Planning and Zoning deferred a vote at that time. And listen to this. Back in 2019, an application for 33 homes on the same land, well, that was unanimously denied by Sussex County's Planning and Zoning Commission.
The Delaware law was set to go into effect on November 16th, requiring anybody purchasing a handgun to have a permit. But that could be delayed as gun groups have taken legal action saying that this was rushed and unconstitutional. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Lewis. Brandon, local gun stores say their customers are feeling the pressure from the law.
Charlie, Best Shot is a gun store and gun range here in Lewis. One of the owners say they've noticed people rushing in over the last 2 weeks to buy handguns before this purchase to permit goes into effect on November 16th. But those permits is what have owners here and gun associations across the state calling unconstitutional. The groups against the state claim that Delaware did not create infrastructure that was needed to issue the permits. Both Delaware State Police and the Delaware Department of Safety and Homeland Security denied to comment on this story, citing the legal case. A number of people we spoke to off camera say we need these permits, but the president of the Delaware Sportsman Association says this law has gone too far.
You want to reduce crime? Bring us into the picture. I'm glad to negotiate and do things that'll reduce crime any day of the week. They won't talk to us. All they want to do, even though they say they don't, all they want to do is ban the possession of firearms by individuals.
As of now, the November 16th date for the purchase to permit law, that's still going into effect. But next Thursday, a judge is hearing this temporary restraining order from gun associations across the state, and that judge could delay the rollout of this law. Live in Lewis, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know what's most important in a gun permit process.
Let's take a look at the results so far. 86% say background checks, and 7% say quick approval, 7% say privacy protection, 0% say training access at the moment.
And here's a comment from Bruce who says background checks have been used for years and work, so why now is our Second Amendment being challenged again?
If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that right now, coasttv.com.
Now let's take a live look into Milford as we see that sky right there, the sun setting, and checking in with Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams.
You know, I try to keep a little humor in what I do, but if I say hold on to your hat, it's not a joke. It was really that kind of a day, and we're going to have a couple of more just like that. In Rehoboth, though, right now, the winds are not so bad, but things are going to change pretty quickly. We'll drop to 60 degrees by 9 o'clock with clearing out skies. Now, here's a look at how things were ruffling and rustling up earlier today. At a 40-mile-per-hour wind gust in Georgetown, a 38-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded in Salisbury, and a 37-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded in Ocean City. In addition to that, we have certain concerns along the coast, particularly a gale wind warning. Watching out for 40-mile-per-hour winds. We actually had some wind advisories for the inland areas, but then the National Weather Service did a flip-flop on us and just took it away and brought it back. So they're flip-flopping, but I'm going to stay pretty consistent with saying it's going to be like that all day long because we're looking at widespread gale wind warnings for the entire coastal region, and then we're going to have a general push with the frontal boundary that's going to keep things flowing in a very active manner. Now, we'll talk more details and more wind coming up in a moment. To then, back to you guys.
Paul, thank you. The land on your screen now is nearly 20 acres on New Road that the city of Lewis wants to transform into a forest and meadow. The city of Lewis says it will cost about $9,600 to $10,900, which is 10% of the total cost. According to the city, the rest of the project will be covered by the Delaware Forest Service. And Lewis's deputy mayor says it's not just about preservation.
This is one of our short-term projects that we are going to apply for, fund, and plant trees here that will help mitigate flood and other issues for the surrounding communities.
Saliba says to move forward with the plan, a grant must be issued to and approved by the Delaware Forest Service. If that happens, planting will start in the spring and continue through 2028. Not a good day for Republicans. That's how President Trump describes Tuesday's election results, an election many say could be a sign of what's to come in next year's midterms.
Well, the president says the shutdown played a role in how people voted. As NBC's Kelly O'Donnell shows us, he says that the public isn't blaming Democrats enough for what has now become the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
A clean sweep for Democrats across Tuesday's high-profile elections. Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill will become the next governor of New Jersey. And in Virginia, Democrats won all three top statewide positions, with Abigail Spanberger becoming the first woman to lead the Commonwealth. In New York City, Zohran Mamdani scored a decisive victory over a former governor in the mayoral race. President Trump did his own assessment of his party's losses.
I don't think it was good for Republicans. They say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
Voters' choices come 1 year after Mr. Trump's own election, and politically the results can be seen as a referendum on the president's policies, with voters describing the economy and the rising cost of almost everything as their main motivation.
Taxes, inflation, cost of living.
But the president, hosting Republican senators today, blames the losses on the government shutdown and Democrats.
And it is Democrat created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should.
The shutdown now 36 days and an unwanted record.
Americans realize Republicans are responsible for this awful shutdown, now the longest officially in history. What a shameless milestone.
But now some lawmakers say they are more hopeful the government could reopen soon.
I feel very confident.
That could bring needed relief to hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers and those required to work without pay.
Congress is still getting paid, the House is, everybody's still getting paid except for the people showing up and doing all the work.
The president is also focused on the Supreme Court today, where justices heard arguments on his sweeping use of tariffs. At issue is whether the president can legally impose those tariffs based on a law originally written for national emergencies. The president has described his tariffs as a centerpiece of his economic and foreign policy agenda. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Washington.
To help people who rely on food benefit programs like SNAP that are affected by the shutdown, the Food Bank of Delaware will host a mass drive-through food distribution on November 21st at 9 a.m. at Crossroad Community Church in Georgetown. These types of mass drive-through food pantries were common during the pandemic, as you can see on the screen here. Organizers say people must bring proof of Delaware residency. Registration can happen online or at the giveaway. The food bank says service is limited to one per household.
And in Maryland, Market Street Public House has turned a small side window into a daily soup drive, serving free meals to neighbors there in Denton while SNAP benefits are on hold. The drive in Denton runs Monday through Saturday, 10 to 11, and Sundays, 11 to noon.
When the best time to buy plane tickets is for Thanksgiving and Christmas, the answer's still to come.
And as we take a look at our bait forecast, keep in mind we're looking for more sunshine Thursday, but more cold weather as well.
But first, a Latino small business tour. What business owners shared about their journeys up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Latino businesses in Georgetown started with big dreams, and now Latino entrepreneurs are coming together to share how they built success from the ground up.
The Latino Small Business Tour highlighted those stories of perseverance and community. One business owner CoastTV spoke with says it's all about the mentality.
You have to have discipline, you have to get a lot of goals to reach, and when you reach it, you have to keep moving up, and you cannot stand.
Several of the businesses not only had the chance to share their stories, but they tell us they plan on expanding.
Coming up next, Paul Williams in our Weather Center with our full forecast after this.
We are once again dealing with very breezy conditions along the beaches, but this time we're going to add a little element of cold air in with that, and that mixture is going to make it required long sleeves for the next couple of days. And next Monday and Tuesday, we're now, instead of going to freezing, I'm going to give you the I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. We're going to go below freezing, okay? I'll let you know early, so it's not such a shock. It will stay in the lower 60s for the rest of the day and the night, and will drop into the 50s for tonight. But right now, we're still hovering and simmering in the 60s. We're at 63 in Millsboro, as well as Georgetown and in Seaford, but we're also holding at 63 degrees right now in Bridgeville, as well as Harrington. Gale wind warnings are rampant around the entire Delmarva Peninsula, staying in effect until Thursday for all the beaches, Broadkill to Lewis, to really just all the beaches, Fenwick Island, all the way down towards Chincoteague. We're talking about 40 to 45 mile per hour winds here. We initially had a wind advisory for the inland areas, but the National Weather Service kind of dropped that off, and they may bring it back into effect because these wind advisories, as far as the coast is concerned, those are staying put. And we do have the wind advisories to our north throughout portions of Jersey as well as throughout Pennsylvania. This trough is going to slide through, and that's going to add more to the wind profiles that we've been dealing with. Let me show you what happened earlier today. We had a 40 mile per hour wind gust, for example, in Georgetown. Some other peak wind gusts, another site in Georgetown, because we have two that we measure and get information from. One was for 36 miles per hour, and the other was between 27 and up to 30. So that's not what you would call a calm day. That was definitely very blustery. And where we are right now, winds are out of southwest with 19 mile per hour winds for us in Indian River Inlet, but that's at least a little bit backed off a bit now. As we go into the midnight hour, we're looking at 33 mile per hour wind gusts coming out of the southwest. Bethany Beach, for example. Then it shifts out of the northwest for Thursday. This, at 11 o'clock, just before we get into lunchtime, this is when the worm turns on the comfort level outside. Because when this wind shifts direction, all that comfort level stuff is out of the park. But then it comes back into effect because we're coming out of the south for Friday, and then winds will just kind of mix around. Now, winds, generally speaking, we're looking at winds that's going to throw your garbage can down the street. So be mindful of that. And only when we get to 67 mile per hour winds do we worry about it blowing you down the street. Thursday, Winds out of the northwest, we're looking at 30 mile per hour winds. And then take a look at these future waves. You see how we go into the dark blue here with 0 to 4 feet? That means that the water levels are dropping, particularly around Lewis and north of Ocean View, as a result of the winds coming out of the northwest. So that's that dual effect of the winds. Temperatures in the 50s for Thursday afternoon. And then for Thursday evening, flowing into Friday, we stay pretty clear till we get to the weekend. That's when it becomes very cloudy. Finally, here's a look at your extended forecast. Now, here's why Monday's going to hurt. 70 on Saturday, 71 on Sunday with a little rain. Then all of a sudden, we drop from 71 down to 31. You might have missed that. Let me say that one more time. 71 down to 31 in a 36-hour period. Back to you guys.
A little flirtation with some warm weather and then not so warm. Across Delmarva, Wicomico County officials are debating a river dredging project. The Army Corps of Engineers says in order to continue at the Wicomico River, the work they need to do, the removal of dredged material has to first take place from a nearby dump site. According to county officials, a possible space for the material is the Conley Mill Quarterly property on Delmar. However, there is some concern that if Conley Mill is used, it would put a risk plan for a public park.
Reversing this plan would send a chilling message that public input can be ignored and that a promise made by the county can be broken.
It's really part of the whole turning this into a park plan. And I think that when residents sort of heard that, they sort of had, kind of a negative reaction.
Giordano says that the dredge work at the river, which has not been dredged in 3 years, is important to the county's economy.
Money is coming in for parks and land preservation on the eastern shore of Maryland. The Board of Public Works approved more than $3 million in grants statewide. In Worcester County, funds will go to a new parking area at Schau Park in Berlin to help with visitors.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 7 in high school football, Y-High takes on Kent Island. Then catch the final score at 10:30.
We salute the Rehoboth Beach Police Department for their unwavering commitment to safety, service, and community pride. From full-time officers to dedicated summer cadets, this outstanding team consistently goes above and beyond to ensure peace and order in every situation. Their professionalism, compassion, and calm leadership set a shining example for all who visit or call Rehoboth Beach home. We thank you for your steadfast service and for keeping our community safe every day.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Rehoboth Beach is looking for people to join the new Boardwalk Historic Designation Task Force. It's attempting to acquire designations by the Delaware Public Archives and National Registry of Historic Places. This is for people who live in Rehoboth Beach, property owners or business owners. It could also include people with related experience who live outside Rehoboth. All meetings will take place at City Hall.
Time is about up. If you want to catch some deals on flights for Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's according to travel company Kayak. The best time to find savings on holiday air travel generally from mid-October to early November. For the lowest fares, Kayak suggests flying out for Thanksgiving on Monday, November 24th. And for Christmas, the most affordable day to fly domestically or internationally is Christmas Eve.
Here's a live look into Rehoboth Beach. One more check on the forecast after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, Boardwalk Rock will not return to Ocean City in 2026. The reasons behind the festival's pause at 6.
In Cambridge right now, we're looking very clear. We'll drop back to 61 degrees under clear skies. This is courtesy of our FH Viewer camera. Now, we are still dealing with very breezy conditions throughout the entire area. We're under gale wind warnings across all of the Delmarva Peninsula. No matter where you are, it's just that kind of blustery and uncomfortable. Mike May of Frankfort, you're our winner of our umbrella, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, 443-880-9100. Your forecast is just a call away, sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstead, Mandalis, and Federico. All right, let's go ahead and have our counseling session.
Okay.
So we're going to go from Sunday 71 degrees down to 31. Yeah, then 35. Yeah. So there you have it.
So maybe coats after the weekend?
Yeah.
Not maybe. Oh yeah, you are from Alaska. You don't know no better.
Yeah, we don't need coats.
All right.
You need coats? I got plenty of, so I don't need no stinking coat.
That's right.
All right, Paul, we'll be ready for that. Thank you. And thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, especially on that cold weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.